James Gunn sempre teve uma visão para o cinema grandiosa, esquisita e cheia de referências pop. Seja na produtora Troma, né, a produtora Trash, onde ele começou a carreira dele, seja em Guardiões da Galáxia, fazendo filmes milionários para a Marvel. Essa visão ficou só mais apurada agora em O Esquadrão Suicida. Eu conversei com James Gunn sobre pandemia, universos compartilhados e, é claro, o futuro de Esquadrão Suicida, no papo que você vê agora. Hello, James.
Hey, Roberto, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. First, brownie points for having John Ostrander in the movie and actually having a line. So
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah, well, John was an actor, so he came in. He was great. It was really fun.
Cool. So since Iron Man back in 2008, shared universes became like all the rage in pop culture, and yet you did the Suicide Squad as its own thing, connected but not burdened by the connection. So, as a creator, how do you see the pros and cons of working within the boundaries of a shared universe?
The pros are obviously that you get to one movie props up another, whatever. The cons are having to tell story pieces from a story that you're telling that actually have nothing to do with your story. So I've never really worked within a shared universe. It's never happened, even in the Guardians movies, because they were totally inclusive for the most, totally. Things came out of them that then happened in other movies, but they were themselves self-included. So Guardians 3 is the first movie that I'm having to do that has elements of other movies in it, because they did affect what happens in Guardians 3. So it's not my favorite thing. Now, again, I'm doing Peacemaker series, which is, part of the Suicide Squad universe, but it's all stuff that I've written. So for me, it's really easy to keep it together if it's my own stuff. But when I have to bring in other people's stuff, it's actually kind of a pain. I don't.
The pandemic kind of blurred the lines between theatrical and streaming release of movies, and now it seems like everything it's blurred. Everything is the same. And as you said, you're doing Peacemaker for HBO Max. Do you think we still need to set theater and streaming apart, or from now on the cat is out of the bag?
No, I think it's simply a part of the pandemic. I think hopefully once this pandemic is over, we'll go back. This movie would never be released on streaming if it wasn't for the pandemic. It would be 100% in theaters. But some people need to be safe, and so that's the best way to do it.
So where does DC wanted you to tackle Superman at first, and you chose Suicide Squad instead?
Yeah, I mean, they basically brought up Superman first, said I could kind of do whatever I wanted, and I ended up choosing Suicide Squad.
So how rare is it for a big corporation to give you liberty to play with their toys?
I guess it doesn't happen very often.
Well,
I talked about it. I had talked to DC about it once before. Actually, before I decided to do Guardians 3, I actually talked to them another time about another project, and chose not to do it. But they've been a great company, and I love playing with those DC Comics characters.
If you go back to DC catalog now, is there any stories that you like to tell? I did a poll with some friends that I was going to talk to you, and they all agreed with one run from one comic book that they will said it would be perfect for you.
What is it?
Not sure. Yeah, that would be like Justice League by J.M. DeMatteis and Keith Giffen.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a great run. Wow, that's a big honor, actually.
It's funny, it's kind of weird. So
yeah.
Do you have anything else in mind in their sandbox?
I'm always playing around with ideas in my head. Of course, I just finished Peacemaker season 1. Would like to play more in that world with those characters. And I'm always open to more Suicide Squad stuff. And there's some other characters I've talked with DC about too. So we'll see what happens. Right now I got to finish Peacemaker. I got to finish Guardians 3, and then I'll be free and can do whatever I want.
Wow.